Welcome to our series exploring the enigmatic realm of unexplained deaths and mysteries. Join us as we delve into perplexing cases that defy conventional understanding, where each clue raises more questions.
The mystery of the Shroud of Turin has intrigued scientists, theologians, and historians for centuries. Central to the enigma is how the faint image of a crucified man was imprinted on the linen cloth. No definitive explanation has been established for the formation of this image. Some suggest that it was created by natural processes, while others propose it could be a supernatural occurrence linked to the resurrection of Jesus Christ. The image shows detailed markings of a man who was scourged, crowned with thorns, and crucified, which aligns with biblical accounts of Christ's suffering. This striking resemblance has fueled claims that the shroud is the actual burial cloth of Jesus. However, many questions remain unanswered about how an image of such complexity could appear without the use of pigments, dyes, or known artistic techniques. One of the most perplexing aspects of the shroud is the image's photographic negative quality, first discovered in 1898 by photographer Secondo Pia. When Pia developed the first photograph of the shroud, he found that the negative showed a much clearer and detailed figure than what is visible to the naked eye. This discovery added a new dimension to the mystery, suggesting that the image carries details that can only be revealed through modern technology. Despite this, no satisfactory explanation has been offered as to how a medieval forger could have achieved this effect, especially considering that photography did not exist at the time. The 1988 radiocarbon dating test, which suggested the shroud dates between 1260 and 1390, appeared to resolve the mystery by declaring it a medieval forgery. However, the results of this test have been heavily criticized and contested. Some researchers argue that the sample tested may have been taken from a portion of the cloth that was repaired in the Middle Ages, which would skew the dating results. Others point out the presence of possible contaminants like wax and smoke from candles, which could have affected the test. This has left room for further speculation, and no consensus has been reached. In addition to scientific debates, the shroud's image is mysterious in terms of how it could have been created. Various theories have been proposed, including the idea that a burst of energy, possibly radiation, during the resurrection could have imprinted the image on the cloth. Other researchers believe it may have been formed by natural chemical reactions between body oils, sweat, and the linen fibers. Yet none of these hypotheses have been proven conclusively. The mystery of the Shroud of Turin remains unsolved, continuing to inspire awe and debate among those who seek to understand its origin and meaning. The Loch Ness Monster, often referred to as Nessie, is a legendary creature said to inhabit Loch Ness, a large, deep freshwater lake in the Scottish Highlands. The mystery surrounding the Loch Ness Monster has captured the imagination of people worldwide for decades, with reports of sightings dating back centuries. The modern legend of Nessie, however, began in 1933, when a couple claimed to have seen a large, dragon-like creature crossing the road in front of their car near Loch Ness. This sighting garnered widespread media attention and sparked a flurry of subsequent reports and interest in the phenomenon. Since then, thousands of people have claimed to have seen the Loch Ness Monster, describing it as a large, serpentine or dinosaur-like creature, often with a long neck and humps protruding from the water. Some speculate that Nessie could be a prehistoric marine reptile such as a plesiosaur that somehow survived extinction. Others believe it might be a giant eel, a sturgeon, or even a misidentified natural phenomenon such as floating logs, waves, or optical illusions. Efforts to scientifically investigate the Loch Ness Monster have been numerous and varied. In the 1930s and 1940s, expeditions used basic tools like binoculars and cameras to search for evidence. In the 1970s, more sophisticated sonar equipment was employed to scan the depths of Loch Ness, a lake known for its great depth and poor visibility. While some sonar contacts showed unexplained objects moving in the water, they were too vague to definitively prove the existence of a large creature. Various photographs and videos have emerged over the years, but many have been debunked as hoaxes, such as the famous surgeon's photograph from 1934, which was revealed to be a staged image involving a toy submarine. In more recent years, scientific investigations have taken a more skeptical approach. Studies using DNA sampling of Loch Ness's waters have found no evidence of any unknown large animal species living in the loch, though they did discover significant eel DNA, leading some researchers to suggest that large eels might account for some Nessie sightings. Additionally, sonar scans continue to show occasional unexplained blips, but none have provided conclusive evidence of a large creature. Despite the lack of scientific proof, the Loch Ness Monster remains one of the world's most enduring cryptids, symbolizing the allure of the unknown and the possibility that mysterious creatures might still exist in the remote corners of the world. The legend has also become a major cultural and tourist attraction, drawing people from all over to Loch Ness in hopes of glimpsing the elusive creature. Whether Nessie is a real creature, a product of imagination, or a combination of misidentifications and hoaxes, the mystery continues to fascinate believers and skeptics alike. The Oumuamua interstellar object is one of the most enigmatic and intriguing discoveries in recent astronomical history. It was first detected on October 19, 2017, by astronomers using the Pan-STARRS 1 telescope in Hawaii. The object was notable for being the first observed interstellar object passing through our solar system, meaning it originated from outside. Unlike typical comets or asteroids that orbit the Sun, Oumuamua was observed traveling on a hyperbolic trajectory, indicating that it was just passing through and not bound to the Sun by gravity. Oumuamua's physical characteristics added to the mystery. Initial observations suggested it was highly elongated, like a cigar or pancake, with a length possibly 10 times its width, making it unlike any previously observed object. Additionally, Oumuamua exhibited non-gravitational acceleration, meaning its speed increased in a way that could not be explained solely by the gravitational pull of the Sun and planets. Normally, comets experience such accelerations when gases and dust are expelled from them, but Oumuamua showed no visible signs of a comet-like tail or gas emission, sparking intense speculation about its true nature.
Scientists and astronomers proposed various hypotheses to explain Oumuamua's behavior. Some suggested it might be a fragment of a larger body, a very unusual asteroid or comet, or even something more exotic like a thin, light sail propelled by radiation pressure from starlight. This latter idea, championed by Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb, drew widespread attention and sparked debates about whether Oumuamua could be an artificial object sent by an advanced civilization, though this remains a fringe theory within the scientific community.
Efforts to study Oumuamua were hindered by its brief visibility. By the time it was discovered, it was already moving away from Earth and the Sun, quickly becoming too faint to observe in detail.
As of now, the exact nature of Oumuamua remains unresolved. It has become a symbol of the vast unknowns in space exploration, highlighting how little we understand about the objects traveling between stars.
While some scientists lean toward natural explanations such as a hydrogen iceberg or a fragment of a distant planet, the mystery persists, making Oumuamua an enduring source of fascination and curiosity in the astronomical world. The death of Edgar Allan Poe, the famed American writer and poet, remains one of the most mysterious and debated episodes in literary history. On October 3, 1849, Poe was found wandering the streets of Baltimore in a state of delirium, wearing clothes that were not his own. He was discovered outside a public house, confused, disheveled, and unable to explain how he had come to be in such a condition. 4 days later, on October 7, 1849, Poe died in a hospital under circumstances that continue to puzzle historians and biographers. At the time of his death, Poe was only 40 years old and already a well-known figure in American literature, having authored works like The Raven and The Telltale Heart. His medical records and death certificate were lost, which has left historians to speculate about the cause of his death for more than a century. In his final moments, Poe reportedly called out the name Reynolds, a figure whose identity remains unknown, further deepening the mystery, but no concrete answer has emerged. Here are some of the possible figures linked to this name. Jeremiah N. Reynolds. A notable theory suggests that Poe may have been referring to Jeremiah N. Reynolds, an explorer and newspaper editor who was known for his advocacy of polar exploration. Poe had some knowledge of Reynolds' work, and it's believed that Reynolds might have influenced Poe's 1838 novel, The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket, which involves themes of exploration. If Poe had Jeremiah Reynolds in mind during his final delirious moments, it might have been a reference to a lingering fascination with exploration or his own unfinished literary pursuits. An unidentified acquaintance. Some scholars speculate that Reynolds might have been an acquaintance or someone from Poe's personal life, though no specific Reynolds or any other Reynolds matching that description has been definitively linked to Poe. This has led to the theory that the name could have simply been a figment of his delirium, reflecting his confused mental state rather than a real person. There are several theories regarding the cause of Poe's death. One popular explanation is that he may have died from alcohol poisoning. Poe was known to struggle with alcohol throughout his life, and it was believed that his condition could have worsened due to binge drinking. However, this theory is complicated by reports that Poe had been trying to abstain from alcohol in the period leading up to his death. Other theories propose that he died from a medical condition such as rabies, epilepsy, or tuberculosis, diseases that were prevalent at the time and could explain his erratic behavior and physical deterioration. One of the most intriguing theories is that Poe was a victim of cooping, a practice used by political gangs in the 19th century. During elections, gangs would kidnap individuals, force them to change clothes, and make them vote multiple times under different identities. Poe was found on Election Day in Baltimore, a city known for such practices, and his strange attire has fueled speculation that he might have been a victim of cooping, beaten and left in a state of disorientation. Despite the many theories, the true cause of Edgar Allan Poe's death remains unresolved. His passing, shrouded in mystery, has become as much a part of his legacy as his literary works, adding a macabre layer to the life of a writer whose stories often dealt with death, madness, and the uncanny. Poe's final days, marked by confusion and unanswered questions, mirror the eerie and unsettling themes he explored in his tales, ensuring that his death continues to fascinate both scholars and fans alike. Spontaneous Human Combustion, or SHC, is a term used to describe incidents in which a person is reported to have suddenly burst into flames without any obvious external source of ignition. What makes SHC particularly mysterious is that the affected individuals are often found with their bodies severely burned, sometimes reduced to ash, while surrounding objects, including clothing or furniture, remain relatively unscathed. This paradoxical scenario has intrigued scientists, investigators, and the public for centuries, with documented cases dating back to the 17th century. One of the most famous cases of SHC occurred in 1951, when 67-year-old Mary Reeser from Florida was found almost completely incinerated in her home, with only her lower leg remaining intact. Her case, along with others, led to widespread speculation and debate about the possible causes of SHC. Some of the theories put forward have ranged from esoteric explanations, such as the body generating an internal chemical reaction, to more scientific ones, like the wick effect. The wick effect suggests that human fat can act like the wax of a candle, with clothing or nearby objects acting as a wick, allowing the body to burn slowly over time. This theory explains why only the body burns while the surroundings remain largely unaffected. Despite these theories, SHC remains a mystery because of its rarity and the lack of definitive scientific evidence. Skeptics argue that many reported cases of SIC can be attributed to external sources of ignition, such as cigarettes, or that the victims were already incapacitated and unable to extinguish the flames. Others point to medical conditions like ketosis, which can produce flammable chemicals in the body, as a possible explanation. Nonetheless, the mystery of SEC persists, fueled by a combination of scientific uncertainty, sensational media reports, and a fascination with the idea that the human body could combust from within. While modern science has yet to conclusively explain SHC, the phenomenon continues to captivate imaginations, maintaining its status as one of the more bizarre and chilling mysteries in the annals of unsolved phenomena. The Fermi Paradox refers to the apparent contradiction between the high probability of the existence of extraterrestrial civilizations in the vast universe and the lack of evidence for or contact with such civilizations. The paradox is named after physicist Enrico Fermi, who, during a casual conversation in 1950, asked,
"Where is everybody?"
This simple question encapsulated the puzzling disconnect between the likelihood of intelligent life beyond Earth and our failure to detect any signs of it. The paradox arises from several factors. First, the Milky Way galaxy alone contains between 100 to 400 billion stars, many of which have planets in the habitable zone, where conditions could support life.
Given that our own planet developed intelligent life relatively quickly in cosmic terms, it seems statistically likely that many other planets could have developed advanced civilizations.
In fact, the universe is over 13 billion years old, providing ample time for intelligent life to emerge and spread across galaxies.
If even a small fraction of civilizations are capable of developing interstellar travel, they should have colonized or at least left detectable signs across the galaxy by now.
Yet, despite the mathematical likelihood, humanity has found no definitive evidence of extraterrestrial civilizations. This absence of evidence, no signals, no probes, no artifacts, has led to a range of theories about why this might be the case.
Some suggest that intelligent civilizations are either rare or short-lived due to self-destruction, like through nuclear war, climate change, or technological collapse.
Others propose that advanced civilizations may deliberately avoid us, adhering to some form of a galactic zoo hypothesis, where they observe less advanced civilizations like humanity without interfering.
Another idea is that technological limitations, such as the immense distances between stars or the energy required for interstellar travel, make communication or exploration prohibitively difficult. The Fermi Paradox continues to fuel debate in both the scientific community and popular culture.
It highlights how little we truly understand about the universe, the nature of life, and the long-term survival of civilizations.
As scientists develop more advanced methods to search for extraterrestrial life, such as studying exoplanets for biosignatures, listening for radio signals, or even exploring our own solar system for microbial life, the Fermi Paradox serves as a reminder of how much remains unknown about our place in the cosmos. The Gilgo Beach murders refer to a series of unsolved killings that came to light in late 2010 along Ocean Parkway on Long Island, New York.
The case began when police were searching for Shannon Gilbert, a missing sex worker, and instead discovered the remains of 4 other women.
As the investigation progressed, more bodies were found in the area, eventually totaling at least 10 victims. The majority of the identified victims were young women who worked as escorts or sex workers, advertising their services on websites like Craigslist.
The remains were found in various states of decomposition, with some dating back to the mid-1990s.
This suggested that the killer or killers had been active for an extended period.
The investigation revealed that most of the victims had been strangled and their bodies wrapped in burlap sacks before being dumped along the beach.
The method of disposal and the targeting of sex workers led investigators to believe that a serial killer, dubbed the Long Island Serial Killer or LISK, was responsible for at least some of the murders.
The case gained significant media attention and sparked discussions about the vulnerability of sex workers and the challenges in investigating crimes against them.
It also highlighted issues with police procedures, as it took years for some of the victims to be identified and for connections to be made between the various discoveries.
Despite extensive investigations, including the use of genetic genealogy and other advanced forensic techniques, the case remained unsolved for many years. However, in July 2023, authorities arrested Rex Heuermann, a 59-year-old architect from Massapequa Park, Long Island, in connection with 3 of the Gilgo Beach murders.
Heuermann was charged with the murders of Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Lynn Costello, and was named as the prime suspect in the death of a 4th victim, Maureen Brainerd Barnes.
Investigators cited DNA evidence, cell phone records, and witness statements as key factors leading to his arrest.
However, questions remain about other victims found in the area and whether all the murders can be attributed to a single perpetrator.
The Gilgo Beach murders case continues to be a topic of intense interest, spawning numerous books, documentaries, and podcasts. It serves as a reminder of the ongoing challenges in solving complex serial murder cases and the importance of continued attention to cold cases. The Babushka Lady is one of the most enigmatic figures connected to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy on November 22, 1963. Her presence in Dealey Plaza, the site of the assassination, has sparked decades of speculation and debate. She was named the Babushka Lady because she was wearing a headscarf similar to the traditional style worn by elderly Russian women, or babushkas. She stood out in the crowd not only for her distinctive attire, but also for her behavior during the shooting. In multiple photographs and film reels of the assassination, the Babushka Lady is seen standing on the south side of Elm Street, across from the Texas School Book Depository, a crucial location since it was from this building's 6th floor that Lee Harvey Oswald is said to have fired the shots. She appears to be holding a camera aimed at the presidential motorcade, seemingly filming or photographing the events as they unfolded. Her vantage point would have provided a clear, unobstructed view of the motorcade as it passed, and Kennedy was struck by gunfire. Unlike many witnesses, who either fled or sought cover after the shots were fired, the Babushka Lady remained unusually composed. In the Zapruder film, one of the most famous visual records of the assassination, she can be seen standing still, while the crowd around her reacts in panic. This calmness in the face of chaos has added an aura of mystery to her identity. Witnesses who later reviewed photos of the scene noted that she did not seem to leave quickly after the shooting, which raises further questions about her intentions or state of mind. The Babushka Lady was thought to have captured some of the most critical footage of the assassination, given her close proximity to the motorcade. However, despite public appeals from the FBI and other investigative bodies, she never came forward with any film or photographs. This absence of her film or photographic evidence has been one of the most frustrating elements of the case for investigators and researchers. If she did indeed capture the moment of the assassination, that footage could potentially offer new insights or clarify existing uncertainties. In 1970, Beverly Oliver, a nightclub singer in Dallas, claimed she was the Babushka Lady. She stated that she had been filming the motorcade with a Super 8 camera, and that after the assassination, government agents confiscated her film, promising to return it, a promise that she claims was never fulfilled. However, Oliver's story has been met with skepticism. Her description of the camera she used, a Super 8 model, did not exist in 1963. and her recollection of events has been questioned by experts and witnesses. Despite her assertions, most researchers do not believe Oliver was the Babushka Lady. Further complicating the mystery, no known footage from the Babushka Lady has ever surfaced, even after exhaustive searches of archival material, private collections, and news footage. Conspiracy theories have flourished around her role, with some speculating that she may have been working for a government agency, a foreign power, or even involved in a conspiracy to assassinate the president. These theories argue that the lack of her footage could indicate an intentional suppression of evidence, though no hard proof supports these claims. Another theory suggests that she may simply have been an ordinary bystander, unaware of the significance of her presence or the footage she had captured. Perhaps, as some suggest, she never developed the film or didn't realize the importance of what she had filmed until much later. This has only deepened the mystery, as the assassination remains one of the most analyzed and debated events in modern history. In the absence of definitive answers, the Babushka Lady remains an enduring figure in the labyrinth of conspiracy theories surrounding the JFK assassination. Despite the extensive investigations and numerous books, documentaries, and research efforts dedicated to uncovering her identity and the potential film she may have captured, the mystery endures. The Babushka Lady stands as a symbol of the unresolved questions that continue to haunt the narrative of that fateful day in Dallas. The Voyages of Saint Brendan, also known as Navigatio Sancti Brendani Abbatis,
or the Voyage of Saint Brendan the Abbot,
is a medieval Christian narrative that tells the extraordinary adventures of Saint Brendan,
an Irish monk from the 6th century,
as he embarks on a mystical sea voyage. Saint Brendan, also known as Brendan the Navigator, became one of the most celebrated saints of Ireland. His seafaring legend evolved into a popular medieval Christian text, filled with allegory, fantastical elements, and spiritual symbolism. The tale is thought to have originated in the early Middle Ages, around the 9th century, and is part of the broader genre of Imram, or Irish sea voyage stories. In the story, Brendan, accompanied by a group of monks, sets sail on a quest to find the Terra Repromissionis Sanctorum, the promised land of the saints, a paradise on earth that some interpret as an early version of heaven. His journey lasts 7 years, during which he and his crew encounter a series of miraculous islands and supernatural occurrences. These include encounters with sea monsters, talking birds, floating crystal palaces, and even the discovery of a whale so large that it is mistaken for an island. The narrative's mix of Christian piety and fantastical elements led to centuries of intrigue, as some historians and explorers speculated whether St. Brendan's voyage had any basis in reality. This theory gained traction in the 20th century, particularly after adventurers like Tim Severin recreated the journey in the 1970s, using a boat modeled after the type of vessel Brendan would have sailed. Severin's successful transatlantic voyage from Ireland to Newfoundland bolstered claims that Irish monks could have been among the earliest Europeans to reach the New World. However, most scholars regard the Navigatio as a religious allegory rather than a historical account. The journey represents a metaphorical spiritual quest, with each island symbolizing different trials or lessons on the path to salvation. The story's emphasis on faith, perseverance, and divine intervention reflects the deep Christian worldview of the medieval period, with Brendan's travels serving as a journey toward enlightenment and communion with God. Despite the uncertainties surrounding its historical accuracy, the Voyage of Saint Brendan remains one of the most enduring and fascinating mysteries of medieval literature, capturing the imaginations of readers with its blend of adventure, faith, and wonder.
Have you ever heard of the Baigong Pipes in China? They're one of the weirdest unsolved mysteries out there.
Yeah, I've read a little about them, but I never really understood the fuss. Aren't they just some ancient pipes? What's so strange about that?
Well, that's the thing. No one really knows what they are or where they came from. The Baigong Pipes are these tubular structures found in caves near Mount Baigong in Qinghai province. They're embedded into the rock, and some are as thick as 40 centimeters. What's wild is that they're estimated to be over 5,000 years old. That's way before any known advanced civilization would have been able to make something like this.
Wait, 5,000 years? That does sound weird. So people think they're ancient plumbing systems or something?
Some do, but it's a lot more complicated than that. There's actually no evidence that the region around Mount Baigong was inhabited by any civilization advanced enough to create something like these pipes. The nearest known settlement back then was miles away. Plus, they're in this remote rocky area that's not exactly easy to access even today. So why would anyone build anything there, much less pipes?
So what's the leading theory then? I mean, how do pipes just end up in the middle of nowhere?
Well, that's where it gets interesting. Some people believe they might have been made by an ancient lost civilization that we don't know about. Others go even further and think they could be evidence of extraterrestrial activity, like aliens using these pipes for some kind of unknown purpose.
Aliens? That's a pretty big leap, don't you think? There has to be a more logical explanation.
You'd think so, right? Scientists have tried to analyze them, and some studies suggest the pipes could actually be natural formations. They say they might be fossilized tree roots or created by a unique geological process.
So it's just a weird natural occurrence, like some kind of rock formation?
That's one theory, but even that's not completely confirmed. Chemical analysis of the pipes shows high levels of iron and ferric oxide, which fits with a natural origin. But there's still a lot that doesn't quite add up. Like, why do the pipes have such precise shapes? And why are they found in these weird random places embedded in solid rock?
That does seem a bit too organized for something completely natural. But I guess it's still better than the alien idea.
True. But what keeps the mystery alive is the fact that we don't have definitive answers. The Baigong Pipes could just be a natural phenomenon that we haven't fully figured out yet, or they could be something more mysterious, either man-made or, well, something else. The location itself adds to the intrigue with that pyramid-shaped mountain and how isolated the region is. People love to speculate when there's this much unknown involved.
Yeah, I can see why it captures people's imaginations. Even if it's natural, the fact that we can't explain it completely is what keeps the mystery going, right?
Exactly. It's like one of those mysteries that's fun to think about because it blurs the line between science and the unknown. Until there's solid proof, people are going to keep wondering. Ancient civilization, natural wonder, or something out of this world.
It's like a puzzle no one can solve. Maybe that's the real allure of the Baigong Pipes. Every theory just opens up more questions.
Yeah, it's one of those rare mysteries that leaves the door open for all kinds of possibilities. And until we figure it out, it'll keep sparking debates and imaginations.
Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the unexplained. We hope these mysteries have sparked your curiosity and encouraged you to delve deeper into the unknown. Until next time, stay curious, stay vigilant, and never stop seeking the truth.